2024 July 21st. Daily Bread Passage. 1 Samuel chapter 25 verse 1 to 13. Key verse. Verse 7. Title: David loses his temper with Nabal. Now Samuel died, and all Israel assembled and mourned for him, and they buried him at his home in Ramah. Then David moved down into the desert of Paran. A certain man in Maon, who had property there at Carmel, was very wealthy. He had 1,000 goats and 3,000 sheep, which he was shearing in Carmel. His name was Nabal and his wife's name was Abigail. She was an intelligent and beautiful woman, but her husband was surly and mean in his dealings. He was a Calebite. While David was in the wilderness, he heard that Nabal was shearing sheep. So he sent 10 young men and said to them, "Go up to Nabal at Carmel and greet him in my name. Say to him, 'Long life to you. Good health to you and your household. And good health to all that is yours. Now I hear that it is sheep shearing time. When your shepherds were with us, we did not mistreat them, and the whole time they were at Carmel nothing of theirs was missing. Ask your own servants and they will tell you. Therefore be favorable toward my men, since we come at a festive time. Please give your servants and your son David whatever you can find for them.'" When David's men arrived, they gave Nabal this message in David's name. Then they waited. Nabal answered David's servants, "Who is this David? Who is this son of Jesse? Many servants are breaking away from their masters these days. Why should I take my bread and water, and the meat I have slaughtered for my shearers, and give it to men coming from who knows where?" David's men turned around and went back. When they arrived, they reported every word. David said to his men, "Each of you strap on your sword." So they did, and David strapped his on as well. About 400 men went up with David, while 200 stayed with the supplies. Samuel had dedicated a lifetime to serving the people of God as the last judge. Upon his death, all of Israel gathered to mourn. David was still on the run, living in the wilderness. In Carmel, David and his men made friends with shepherds tending the cattle of a wealthy man, Nabal, who was described as surly and mean. David guarded the cattle and protected Nabal's servants from wild animals and thieves. When the harvest time came, David expected Nabal to return the favor. He asked Nabal to share some food since he had an abundance. However, Nabal insulted David and refused David's humble request. He failed to recognize his wealth as God's blessing and lost an opportunity to have a good relationship with the man who would be the next king. David was furious with Nabal and commanded his men to attack. When kindness was repaid with Nabal's selfish pride, David lost his discernment and put himself and his men in danger of sinning before God, who prohibits stealing. David was in training to be a good king to serve his people according to God's will. Prayer. Father, thank you for your guidance. Help me to have wisdom in dealing with the wickedness in the world and to be gracious as you are. One word. Honor God and be kind to your neighbor.